body is desperately trying to still produce some estrogen for us. And estrogen is produced in fat cells, and most productively in the fat cells in the middle part of the body. So although none of us like that change, and I call it fluffy, we sort of get more fluffy in the middle, it is our body's attempt at trying very hard to produce estrogen for us as we age.
Welcome to Fated to Fabulous, the podcast for women who know that midlife is not the end. It's the beginning of something bold. I'm Kim Lovely, and I'm here with Vicki Kirby. We're here to talk to you about health, hormones, confidence, and joy. Midlife isn't about fading away. It's about stepping into your power and shining brighter than ever. Let's get into it.
Hi, ladies. Hey, ladies. Welcome to Fated to Fabulous, the holiday edition.
Did you know it was the holiday edition if you're watching this?
Yeah, for those of you that are listening to us on just podcast apps and not on YouTube, we are dressed for the season.
We should dress holiday-ish for the segment. And so Kim means she's going to get out her beautiful Christmas plaid shirt. And I said, no, we're going to go Dollar Tree style and get some earrings and crazy hats. So that's what we are.
I did both.
It's
I have my
both.
Christmas shirt and my goofiness. Yes. I trialed the headband on the dog this morning and lit her up.
My poor dog, there are so many pictures of him every season. Like, the kids always get like a Halloween costume or a funny. We always put headbands on him, and every picture you can see it. Like, if dogs make faces, my dog's face is like, I hate it here.
I need a new home.
Put me down. He's like begging you.
I love it when social media will refer to the pet family as the feeders.
So
My feeders.
My feeders. I love that so much.
I love that. So,
can I start off with a little something?
Yes.
I'm just really thankful that we're doing this. Thankful for every woman especially that has supported this and us in Fated to Fabulous and in this podcast and in what we're doing one-on-one with women. Yeah. And I'm very thankful for you. And I love you. Just wanted to say
what's so cool is we've done our best to keep this no ads and no cost. And there have been some... there's a way of sort of doing some donations to us, and there have been some women who over time have literally
Are you serious?
contributed a little bit to us.
Didn't tell me that.
Yeah, well, I was kind of saving it for you.
That's
Yeah,
cute.
So to those women,
Mama's
and they
getting
remain
Botox. Thanks, ladies.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
they remain anonymous. They wanted to be kept anonymous.
That's so sweet.
So for those women that have supported us, thank you so much.
Yes. I think, it was interesting. I was thinking about something the other day. We started this adventure as a total passion project. And I think one of the things to tell women up front, we aren't making money from this at all.
Nope.
None of it. In fact,
we're self-funded.
We are self-funded, and we actually put money in to be able to provide this. It's just definitely anything that we've received from previous programming has been put back directly in to just be able to reach more women. Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. Grateful for all of it and grateful for you.
So we have some questions that podcast listeners have given us, since we're going to answer those questions. We're also going to talk a little bit about how to not make the holiday season chaos, stressful. Let's try to keep it fun and wonderful for us. But like we said, we always have a funny story sometimes to share. And so the funny story to share this week, for those that don't know, I have a funny life. I have still an adult child living at home, and it's a lot. There's a lack of privacy in my older years in life. And so that includes privacy in all areas. So when I was away in Georgia, my friends were always telling, you need to go away with your husband. You need some time, like in a beautiful place, and, do the wild thing privately and stuff. So my husband and I went away last weekend. We had a great weekend. Went to Vermont, and I downsized my toiletries bag. And so in downsizing my toiletries bag, I forgot a particular item that's very helpful when you're going to have a romantic weekend and you're in midlife. Yeah, right? We don't need to talk about exactly what it is because you all know what it is. So when I realized that I'd forgotten it, I kind of got this sort of disappointment from both myself and my spouse. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a creative lady. I can figure this out. So I went into my bag and I found a little glass bottle of a tincture of a collagen booster. It's great for my face. And I figured,
Can't hurt.
And it worked. It worked very well. So moral of the story is sometimes we can get creative when we need to be, right? And saved my romantic weekend and didn't make it a weekend that we couldn't have any fun because I didn't have anything to have fun with. So
I love it.
That's my funny story.
I love your funny story.
Yeah, I like funny stories too.
So the questions we got.
Yeah, the first one we got, Vicki, was about cortisol. So I want you to put on your provider hat and talk a little bit about cortisol.
The reason we're even talking about cortisol is because it's just all over social media and women, and I've, menopause belly and cortisol brain and like all of these things. But realistically, it's, stress, right? So what we know is that it isn't healthy for us in any condition to be consistently in a state of fight or flight in our sympathetic nervous system, and not sleeping and burning the candle at both ends and intermittent fasting, underfueling, right? All of the things that a lot of women do on the regular. So what I will tell you is that most of the time there really is not a need for that magic supplement that they'll try to sell you, right? Because you're in the struggle. It really is just getting back to basics. Because we know that lack of sleep, for example, chronic stress, not eating enough, right? They're going to tell our bodies that we're in danger, and then we're going to have alterations in cortisol and insulin and ghrelin and leptin, like all of them. So just about general balance, just know that there is no magic supplement.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other question we got, so the menopause belly thing, right? Like the magic probiotic that's going to fix it. Talk about body composition changes, like what we're really seeing when we talk about menopause belly.
Yes. So in the beginning of perimenopause, all women experience changes in body composition. And that is because we are losing lean body mass, which includes both muscle and bone, unfortunately at quite a click, at a good rate. And we are replacing that mass with fat mass. It is a normal part of the female aging process. It is, all of us experience it. And if when women say, oh, I never got any changes in my belly, they're not telling you the truth. It happens to all women. Where fat sits on women's bodies does change as we age. When we're younger, it tends to sit in places like hips, thighs, buttocks area, where that is kind of our pregnancy and nursing place, right? It's where the body can easily access that space for additional energy to get through pregnancy and nursing. When we're not doing that any longer, we don't have to necessarily store it there. And our body is desperately trying to still produce some estrogen for us. Excuse me. And estrogen is produced in fat cells. And most productively in the fat cells in the middle part of the body. So although none of us like that change, and I call it fluffy, we sort of get more fluffy in the middle, it is our body's attempt at trying very hard to produce estrogen for us as we age. So, women will undereat and overexercise in effort to shift that and move that. And while those are amazing things, we should be exercising, certainly not undereating. But it's sort of impossible to just spot eliminate by undereating and not nourishing the body well enough in effort to be in a smaller body. We can't selectively pick just the belly.
It drives women crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder, and this is just me thinking, so the Menopause Society yearly meeting, right, was recently, and they presented observational data about women starting menopause hormone therapy earlier in perimenopause versus waiting until they're postmenopausal, decrease risks of breast cancer and cardiovascular events. So I'm really going to be curious if we start transitioning into supporting more women through their perimenopause, will they potentially not have that as a struggle because they didn't go through the fluctuating estrogen levels. So it'll be interesting stuff to see. I think that a lot of women are really getting the message and coming in, which is awesome.
As far as like strength training, we all benefit by core work, right? So while we can't necessarily make that gooiness, and I hate the word menno belly and menopause. I like it as fluffy, right? That just sounds a little kinder.
It sounds cute.
It sounds cute, yeah. So we can definitely improve how we feel about ourselves by doing resistance training in the core, right? So both back and abdomen and all of that area is going to make you feel stronger in your middle. And if you feel stronger in your middle, that's great. The other thing too is clothing choices, right? Sometimes our body has changed its proportions a little bit, and we may have to change the way we buy clothes. Like maybe the jeans that we wore in our 30s, they just don't suit the body that we have in our late 40s and 50s, right?
Low-rise jeans never come back.
God almighty,
What a
they're
tragedy
awful,
those
right?
were.
Ugh. So I found that with me. Like I had to change the style of jeans that I was wearing and really embrace a bit more of a higher rise, right? And be much more comfortable with a little bit more flexibility in the clothing. So some of it is not squeezing into things that don't feel good in your body, which then reminds you all day long that, oh my gosh, right? So we don't need the reminders.
Right. True story.
Yeah. All right. This was the other question, and I'm going to give it to you, Vicki. Brain fog. It's real and annoying.
It's very real. It's actually really real. And it's brain fog. Why did I walk into this room? It's I forgot to go to that appointment today. It's forgetting someone's name. It's forgetting what you were about to say in the middle of, I don't know, leading a meeting. This is why we see 10% of women leave their jobs and 25% of women think about it when they're in menopause. So many reasons for this, primarily being a loss of hormones, right? We have estrogen receptors everywhere, particularly in the brain, but then compounding factors, right? So that's things like sleep, right? Sleep and stress, and are we nourishing our body? So there's a lot that you can do from a non-hormonal perspective to help with brain fog, not skipping meals and, burning the candle at both ends, prioritizing sleep, but then also just meeting with a menopause provider and talking about hormones. Because that's a really, really tough one.
And from a nutrition perspective, too. I mean, you know me, like front load the day. Skipping breakfast and not eating till lunchtime and then wondering why you're exhausted and not finding words at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, that's something we can fix.
Another question.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So somebody said, I'm 43. I haven't had a period in several years to medical reasons. I don't feel like myself. My sleep isn't great. No hot flashes. You're welcome to perimenopause.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because not every woman gets vasomotor. But meeting with somebody like that, the I don't feel like myself is one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
And so for that person, what I would be teasing out is, again, are you sleeping? We would evaluate sleep. And then I would probably do some labs. Where are you? If you're not getting periods, are you post? Are you peri? Is your testosterone left the building? Because a lot of times, like estrogen can help with that feeling, but testosterone a lot of times for that. I don't feel like myself, brain fog, fatigued, low libido. So that's kind of how I would answer that.
I think the sad part, too, that a 43-year-old feeling that way, there's a pretty good chance they're not going to get heard. Right? They
Sure.
show up in an
there's a really
office
good chance they're going to get offered an
somebody's going to say you're
antidepressant.
43, you're way too young to experience menopause, and I think that's kind of sad. So if that's you, if you were the one that asked that question,
keep going
please
and
know
get
that,
another answer.
Yeah, keep asking and don't take no for an answer, or you brush it off, go to a yoga class,
Prozac.
whatever, right? Yeah. Keep
and another
pursuing.
question: how do I build intimacy with my partner? Oh.
Yeah.
What was it that I recently heard on I think it was a podcast, and I forgot who it was, so I can't give credit. But instead of foreplay, they were using the word chore play.
I love that.
So
right?
if any guys are, any partners are listening, doing some chores is really sexy. But actually, the biggest thing isn't doing the chore, right? It's taking something off the list of a woman who's already feeling they're carrying the mental load and a bit resentful. There's nothing sexier than when she can close a tab. Yeah. That definitely helps build intimacy. Yeah. But I think also, I don't know what you would say, Kim. I think connecting in the chaos and busyness, there was a period of time where I feel like my husband and I were butting heads a bit. And then, you can feel disconnected. So we started doing this thing called 10 minutes. And so it was when he got home from work, we would go up into the bedroom, shut the door, no interruptions, no phones, and just spend 5 to 10 minutes connecting. What's going on with you? What was today like? What do you need?
Love
how
that.
you feeling? Yeah,
it's wonderful.
It really is. Yeah, because for women in particular, intimacy starts
way
outside
before
of
the bedroom.
It's, when you wake up in the morning.
I would say building intimacy daily. I think it would start with the beginning of the day, the kindness, the hug, the kiss goodbye, the text in the middle of the day, maybe a little naughty text in the middle of the day, right? That can't hurt.
I would probably accidentally send it to
you have to be careful about that. Yeah. You have to be careful about that. But be careful about that. Don't send it to your boss. But if you're careful about your texting and you know for sure only your husband's going to get it, and maybe he works at home alone and so no one's going to see his text. But I think just, thinking about your intimacy prior to the bedroom or the end of the day could be really helpful. And I agree
in
with
a
you,
season where it's tough, right? And in
Yeah.
a season where if we're in perimenopause, in menopause, there's lower hormones. It's, real. So
It is
I love
real.
it. So let's talk Christmas. Let's talk
Okay.
Christmas and Thanksgiving and the holidays all around. Like, how do we survive the holidays without losing our mind? What do you think?
So my question for you was, what's one thing, Vicki, that stresses you out about either Thanksgiving or Christmas, the holidays? What's one thing that stresses you out? What are you worrying about?
It's something that I enjoy, but it also does give me stress. I want Christmas to be magical for everybody else. I really do. That's what makes it magical for me. I've never actually said to my children that there's no such thing as Santa. I still say to this day, and they're 22 and 19, I still believe, right? I still rap with like Santa, right? And I want them to have that big excitement of the day. But realistically, they're 19 and 22. Do you know what I mean? And I also am struggling with the consumerism side of things much more than I ever have. Like it, yay to this beautiful excitement of Christmas morning, but also like, do we need to give each other gift cards? Like, you get me a $20 Starbucks card and I'll get you a $20 Starbucks card. It just seems like spending to spend, and it seems like too much. So it's finding that balance and not making it about stuff.
So I'll tell you my funny one this year was I appreciate, I will scroll through social media every once in a while and, these beautifully decorated houses and, the videos are so lovely.
Right.
And I think in the past I might have looked at those and thought, oh, I'd like to have that too. Like, could I make that in my house? And now my thought this year is, holy cow, that is really beautiful in her house because she has to put it all away and I don't.
Right.
So my brain goes to the amount of energy
That goes
goes into it and more of the cleanup, right? Like, it's beautiful when it's there, but oh my gosh, then you have to put it all away. And I'm sort of, that to me is a
we're
deterrent.
driven by should, right? We're driven by should. We're all wired that way.
Yep.
And so, again, you see on social media, right? So I think about years ago when I was going through a divorce. And every year before that, I would take these kids to the picture people in the mall and I would get their matchy outfits and get the perfect picture and do all the things and then have to go online, create the perfect Christmas card, send all those cards out, right? The year I was going through divorce, I'm like, what am I going to say in my card? Like,
I'm going through divorce. Yay, me.
I was not card worthy that year. And so I was like, why do I care? The world is not going to come to an end if I don't put all this energy and effort into this, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't do it. Years. Then I ended up marrying somebody who's like, I love Christmas cards. So this is the deal. I'll find some cute pictures to toss into the, online portal. You are writing on every single one of those envelopes. Like, if you want it, it's you. So getting used to recognizing, like, what are you doing that when it's all put together actually fills you with joy and doesn't completely drain you? And what are you doing because of the other people's expectations that are really then self-imposed and stupid? Like, what can go? Right.
It's interesting. I had a client yesterday who we were talking about Christmas. We did some coaching on just sort of what was going on in her head. And we realized that she was doing things like she hosts for holidays based on what she thought other people might think.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, we all have done that. Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, I don't know about you, but I barely know what I'm thinking a lot of the time, let alone what anybody else is thinking. So how about we make decisions about what we're going to do based upon what we think and what we want versus what we think other people think.
Right.
Because that is
so
so
much
convoluted.
So much pressure. And then I think if you set the expectation, you have this vision of all the perfect things, it never turns out that way. And then you end up with that like kind of sadness or grief that it didn't go the way and disappointment. 1 year, so it was 2 years ago, I think, we had a storm and we had a power outage, major power outage for Christmas. I don't know if you remember that. And we don't have a generator, right? And so...
You can come to my house. We do have one.
Oh, okay, thank you. Now I know. We toughed it out. We made it work. You should have seen it. It was like Clark Griswold did.
Truth be told, we got ours. So I have a son with type 1 diabetes. The year he was diagnosed, we had that October storm before Halloween.
Yes.
And we realized that the cost of insulin in the fridge, if we lost that, was more expensive than actually putting in a whole house generator.
Good gravy.
Right?
Wow.
So I got my generator. You know, my poor child that had to be the reason for getting it, but it is actually quite nice.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, again, we power outage, right? And I have this, I'm planning this like delicious roast and we're going to do this nice dinner with the girls and blah, blah, blah. You know what? We have like...
Weenies over the camp stove.
I took that roast, that beautiful roast, I stuck it on the grill, and then we made like those yucky instant mashed potatoes.
Perfect.
Some boiled water from our neighbors, and you know what? And we sat around and we really enjoyed it. So if you keep the expectation really low and you take some of the pressure off yourself, I think you can be in the moment and enjoy things more. And that wasn't something that came to me naturally. That was definitely learned over time. Probably you as well.
We probably bring with us from, you know, historically, like things that maybe were done for us when we were a child.
Sure.
And, you know, I was thinking about just the simplicity of my childhood versus, you know, what kids are experiencing now. My biggest thrill of decorating our house, and I was, you know, I grew up in the 70s.
Yeah.
And so everything was plastic and
tinsel.
and, you know, sometimes we even flung it on the tree, right? Like it wasn't nicely placed. But there was this little plastic Santa Claus and his sleigh and the reindeer, and they just sort of clipped together. And I remember that was my job every year, was to do that little plastic thing and set it somewhere. It probably at this day and age would be like 50 cents in the dollar store. Like it was not an expensive thing, but it really mattered to me. So
cute.
Yeah, so I realized like, what are we, you know, the magical Christmas that you are presenting for your kids, what may be really magical about it is the fact that they get up and the house is warm and their mom is there and she's all loving and happy and right? Like that may be the magical part.
Kim, so let's talk about in alignment with taking care of yourself during the holiday season. How do people keep from kind of going off the rails? What do you recommend to your clients?
Number one is keep to your good habits. Whatever it is that you do that keep you well, if it's your gym workouts, if it's your home workouts, your high protein breakfast, if it's your snack in the afternoon, do your best to stick with those and don't let them go. Because in the end, those are the things that actually will keep you glued together. Rest. Taking time to actually rest. Don't run ragged. Decide ahead of time, you know, all the tasks that might be on your list of things to do for Christmas. Are there things that you literally can let go of?
Like the cards?
Right. I let go of that a long time ago, too. I hear you on that one. It's very expensive, too. It's a really expensive project. You know, letting things go that no longer serve you well, that maybe don't give you pleasure, and focusing on, you know, if there's something that's really, really important to you, like creating that magical morning on Christmas, own it.
Yeah.
Put all of your energy into that and let something else go. Back to that, you know, we have a finite amount of energy. Think about nutrition and food. Make deliberate choices, right? If you're going to be going to Aunt Susan's and you know that she makes this amazing trifle that she learned to make in England and you love that trifle, eat it.
Right.
Enjoy it.
Without guilt.
Without any guilt, right? Avoid missing meals thinking that, well, I'm going to save my calories.
Oh my gosh,
right?
because then you eat the house. Like that's what happens.
Always backfires.
I usually tell you too, just to remember, like you're going to that work party. That's going to be awesome. And you're going to, you know, New Year's Day at so-and-so's house. And so those are individual events and treating them as such, because a lot of people get into black or white, all or nothing thinking. It's the holidays. And so then literally, you know what, I might as well just start over in the new year. And you know how you wake up in the new year, you're like, damn it. I'm up 10 pounds and I feel like garbage and I'm, you know, I haven't. So prioritizing yourself. Remember, it's you don't have to do black or white, all or nothing.
Exactly.
Rip off. Yeah.
I sort of like to think about it as, you know, you could try to maintain your weight over Christmas or holidays, right? Like just maintain your weight. Don't worry about like some people are like, I'm going to lose weight over Christmas. That's probably not a good.
No,
Also, if you're going to like a buffet type event, check everything out before you pick up your plate. Decide ahead of time what it is you'd really enjoy eating. Because if you just pick up your plate and you start, you'll put things on your plate that maybe you don't really
You
want.
wanted the other thing at the end more.
Correct, right? And then you end up overeating. And not that that's a terrible thing, but you may end up overeating on things that you really don't like anyway.
That weren't worth it. It is not a season where you have to go to Thanksgiving and have cauliflower mashed potatoes. Absolutely not. It is one day, eat the mashed potatoes. Like that, so without the guilt and the shame.
Yeah. And sort of knowing ahead, if you're going to indulge in more sugar than you usually do, I mean, think about that. Like, what's that going to mean for you?
How do you feel afterwards?
Right. For me, too much sugar is going to be a little hard on my joints because it does inflame my arthritis, and it's going to light my brain up to want a little more. Is what I'm going to choose to eat, is it worth it? Right? Like, is that worth it for me? And a lot of times I will decide that absolutely it's worth it. But I also know that when it's over, I'm going to have a little bit of work to do to get myself back to the place where my brain isn't sort of saying, ooh, sugar, let's do that. Because that's me, right? We've talked before. I don't moderate it really well. My brain gets lit up and wants more. So sort of knowing what's the end game here. Like, what's the plan? Yeah.
So happy holidays, ladies. This was really fun. I'm going to add costumes into every show now. I think you'll really like it. But take care of yourself this holiday season. Hope you enjoyed this. Please share us with your friends and be well.
And we look forward to coming back in the new year with all kinds of content and amazingness. And we've got guests that we're bringing to you that we're so excited about. Stay with us. Keep showing up. Be well.
Happy holidays.
Thanks for spending time with Vicki and I today on Fated to Fabulous, where midlife is just the beginning of your boldest chapter yet. If you got something out of today's episode, we'd love it if you'd share it with a friend and leave a review. Hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking for more support, inspiration, or sisterhood, come join us at fatedtofabulous.biz, because you were never meant to do midlife alone. Until next time, stay fabulous.